Welcome to Elephanta Insights. Today, we're going to talk about a development that is quietly reshaping the strategic balance in the Indian Ocean and redefining the limits of alliance politics. Imagine a tiny, remote island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. For decades, it's been a silent strategic linchpin, a hidden launchpad for American power. But right now, the speck of land, called Diego Garcia, is at the heart of an explosive diplomatic standoff testing the very foundations of the US UK Special Relationship. In the past few weeks, a decision made on this island has sent shockwaves from Washington to Tehran, raising the stakes in the escalating crisis with Iran and fundamentally reshaping how alliances work. This isn't just about a military base, it's about sovereignty, international law, and the future of global power projection. So, what exactly is going on? In short, the United Kingdom has denied the United States permission to use its military bases, including the critical Diego Garcia and potentially RAF Fairford, for offensive strike operations against Iran. This isn't a minor disagreement. It's a direct no to a key ally during a moment of extreme tension. Why? London cites international legal compliance trying to navigate the complex transfer of sovereignty over the Chagos Archipelago to Mauritius. This decision has sparked public fury from the Trump administration, which sees it as a betrayal, even linking it to the future of that very sovereignty deal. This isn't just an alliance and strain, it's a fundamental recalibration of who calls the shots on sovereign territory. To understand the gravity of this, we need to grasp why Diego Garcia is so crucial. This isn't just any base. It's often called the unsinkable aircraft carrier. Picture this, a 12,000-foot runway in the middle of nowhere capable of handling the heaviest US bombers. We're talking B-52S, even B-2 stealth bombers. These aren't just for show. They've been deployed here during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars and more recently surged as a powerful deterrent against Iranian escalation. It's perfectly positioned between East Africa and Southeast Asia, offering unparalleled reach toward the Strait of Hormuz, that narrow choke point through which one-fifth of the world's oil flows. Without Diego Garcia, the US faces significantly longer response times, increased logistical headaches, and a weaker deterrent signal to adversaries. Its value isn't just strategic, it's practically irreplaceable in this volatile region. This brings us to the core of the UK's decision, a tangled web of international law and a deeply sensitive sovereignty dispute. The Chagos Archipelago has been a point of contention for decades. In 2019, the International Court of Justice declared that the UK's administration of the territory was unlawful, urging decolonization. The UN General Assembly followed suit. Then in May 2025, a landmark agreement was signed between London and Mauritius, transferring sovereignty to Mauritius, while preserving the UK's operational control of Diego Garcia under a 99-year lease. This was supposed to be a diplomatic triumph, but here's the catch. The treaty is still awaiting final ratification in the UK Parliament. And just last week, in a highly publicized incident on 16 February, a group of Chagosians landed on Le Du Coin, one of the outer islands, to establish a permanent settlement, directly challenging the restricted access status of the archipelago. For the UK, authorizing offensive strikes right now, during this delicate period of formal transfer and direct challenge, could be catastrophic. It risks being seen as co-belligerent under the Rome Statute, potentially undermining the entire legal basis of their new lease. London is walking a tightrope, trying to protect its legal standing and the very future of the base itself. This isn't the first time an ally has said no to the US. Think back to Turkey's refusal of transit rights during the 2003 Iraq War, or European hesitation during the 1986 Libya strikes. But this time it feels different. President Trump, never one to mince words, took to Truth Social on 18th February and 19th, publicly lambasting the Chagos Treaty as an act of great stupidity. This directly reverses his administration's earlier, albeit tentative, support for the deal. He's openly linking London's basing hesitation to continued US support for the sovereignty transfer, a classic transactional move. The special relationship is being stress-tested like never before. It reveals a fundamental clash. The UK, under the Starmer government, is adopting a more legally driven multilateral approach to foreign policy, while the Trump administration operates on a purely transactional access for support model. This isn't a rupture, but it is a clear assertion of sovereign leverage by the UK. Operational autonomy for the US is now being explicitly balanced against the UK's legal exposure and diplomatic risk. The alliance remains intact, yes, but how and where force is employed is now subject to intense negotiation rather than presumption. Finally, we can't ignore the broader Indian Ocean context. This region is a hotbed of strategic competition with China aggressively expanding its logistical access and port infrastructure across the basin. Diego Garcia remains one of the most capable Western facilities, a critical counterweight in this dynamic. The UK's decision also resonates with India's maritime calculus, particularly its concerns over sea lane security and the Andaman and Nicobar Command. Britain's caution reflects dual pressures, maintaining its Indo-Pacific credibility as a security partner while managing the diplomatic fallout of a sensitive sovereignty handover. Some critics of the Chagos Treaty fear that a Mauritian-administered archipelago might eventually open the door for Chinese dual-use infrastructure on other islands, strategically encircling Diego Garcia itself. The truth is, maritime strategy in the Indian Ocean is no longer just about traditional force posture. It's increasingly shaped by who owns the land and what international laws govern its use. Sovereignty is the new frontier of power projection. So, what does this all mean? The standoff over Diego Garcia is more than just a diplomatic spat. It signals a fundamental shift in the global order. The era of unquestioning alliance support, particularly for offensive military actions from sovereign territory, appears to be over. Host nations, even close allies, are increasingly asserting their legal and sovereign rights, forcing superpowers to navigate a complex web of international law and domestic politics. The special relationship isn't dead, but it's evolving into something far more conditional and transactional. The future of alliances will be less about shared history and more about shared legal frameworks, risk assessment, and precise negotiations. Diego Garcia, this tiny island, has become a microcosm of a much larger geopolitical transformation. What are your thoughts on this complex situation? Do you think the UK is right to prioritize international law, or should it stand firm with its ally during a crisis? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this deep dive valuable, please like this video, subscribe for more geopolitical analysis, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next upload. If you want to connect on our LinkedIn, Substack, Medium, and Blogger.com page, we have provided the links in the description. Thanks for watching